Florentine YGO.
Well, look who's back from the dead. It is I, Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! First off, I just want to kind of get this out of the way. My long, month and a half hiatus, I suppose. Really, it's just because I work full-time, and it's starting to business is starting to pick up at my work, and it leaves me burnt out most weekends, or either that or I just feel totally uninspired to make videos. I do apologize, but as a lot of you know, I do this channel as a hobby, and if the hobby doesn't look appealing to me, I'm probably going to put it on the back burner for a little while. But anyway, I'm back, and also another thing is that I haven't been able to get many duels in because my cousin is off at trade school. So, and he's the one I do a lot of my fun duels with, so yeah, between my cousin being at trade school, me working full-time, and things getting busy at work, and sometimes just straight up feeling uninspired, things just kind of had to be put on the back burner for a little bit. But I am back to continue with the destruction of this planet. So what this video is going to be, it's going to be a long-awaited Orica structure deck from Pegasus Fantasy Cards. Just kind of showing it off, I guess. And this was one that a few of you have requested. I personally think is a little irrelevant because we did get a lot of these cards made in Shadows of Valhalla, and I just gave away what deck it is right there. So no point in hiding it from you anymore. This is going to be an opening of Structure Deck Ride of the Valkyries from Pegasus Fantasy Cards with the anime. It's the anime effect versions of the Valkyrie cards, but it also comes with some of the cards that we didn't get. Things like Nibelung's Treasure and Rainbow Bridge Bifrost and Magical Alms. Some really weird and OP cards that we still haven't gotten yet. So, with all that out of the way, I think it's time we crack this sucker open. Very good craftsmanship from Pegasus Fantasy Cards, as always. I can't recommend his work enough. Okay, sorry about the jump cut there. I just realized, silly me, forgot to sort this deck after I last dueled with it for this video. So now that's all taken care of, we can see that we have our secret rare of the deck is in the window through a sleeve. We'll just pull that out, and it is a Valkyries Zite. Not really going to go over the effects of the cards that were already made, because honestly the real ones in this rare circumstance are actually better than their anime counterparts, which is pretty interesting. So, secret rare Valkyries Zite. Remove the band that holds the cards together, and we have 3 Valkyrie Brunhilde, 3 Valkyrie Erst, 2 more Valkyries Zite, basically 3 of every Valkyrie, and then 3 Valkyrie Dreet. That is all of the Valkyrie monsters, and then we have 2 of Fortune Chariot. And that is all of the monsters of the deck. Then we have 2 Goddess Skuld's Oracle, 2 Goddess Urd's Verdict, or Goddess Verdande's Guidance. Goddess Urd's Verdict is the next one. These look pretty nice. And then we have 2 Goddess Urd's Verdict. So 2 of each of the continuous spells, pretty good ratio. And I'm not really going over the effects of these cards, because these were some of the few of Zigfried's cards that we actually got made into real cards. So, but here are some cards that didn't get made into real cards. We have 2 Nibelung's Treasure. Holy crap, they can never make this into a real card unless they make it like Valkyrie only, or just heavily nerf it. So what this card does is you choose a spell card in your deck and activate it on your opponent's side of the field without ignoring its activation conditions. Then you draw 5 cards. Yeah. You've seen this in the Orica challenge just because it's an amazing card with things like Dark Hole and Heavy Storm. By the way, Orica challenge deck profile coming soon. Yeah, Nibelung's Treasure, what you're supposed to do with it in this deck is combo it with Nibelung's Ring, equipping it to one of your opponent's monsters. Because what Nibelung's Ring does is the monster it's equipped to can't be tributed or have its effects activated, and then during your opponent's draw phase, when Nibelung's Ring's on their field, they draw 2 instead of 1 for every normal draw, but if they draw any monsters, they have to send at least one of them to the graveyard. So, yeah, Nibelung's Ring, so basically going second with Nibelung's Treasure is bonkers. But it's kind of needed for the deck strategy to be able to get all these monsters to your hand as fast as possible for a quick kill with Ride of the Valkyries. Then we have our super rare, a Mischief of the Time Goddess. We actually got 2 of these. I think 1 was enough, but the best thing about this version of Mischief of the Time Goddess, this is the anime version. It's a normal spell, so you activate it main phase 2 after your first battle phase. And it's completely generic. You just end the turn, go to your next battle phase, attack again. There's no condition on it, like you can only activate 1 Mischief of the Time Goddess this turn or whatever. You can just go battle phase, attack, Time Goddess, attack, Time Goddess, game, pretty much. So, yeah, Time Goddess. I'm glad that they made the real one, like, archetype specific, because if they didn't, they would have to nerf the crap out of it. But it's still a pretty good card for the Valkyrie archetype, which I'm happy about. Then we've got 1 Enchanted Sword Nothung. So when this card gets activated and equipped, you destroy and banish all face-up dragon monsters your opponent controls, and the equipped monster gains 400 attack. If the equipped monster battles a dragon-type monster, it is instantly destroyed before damage. So that's pretty cool. Just anti-dragon support for when Zigfried fights Kaiba, I guess. Next up, we have Final Light. This is pay 1,000 life points to select 1 light monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Your opponent can then special summon a monster with 2,000 or less attack from their graveyard in attack mode. Kind of a give and take card. Obviously, Monster Reborn is just way better. And we have Goddess Erda's Guidance, Erda's Guidance, which is a pretty interesting card. Probably, I don't know how good it would be in the real game, because you have to discard a spell to activate it. Then you take a trap from your graveyard and set it, but, you know, the trap rule can't be activated on the same turn you set it, so. It's pretty heavy cost. Discarding a spell is usually not something a lot of players like to do, so I think this could actually be like a real card. Oops, sorry about that, just bumped my camera. Now we have probably the weirdest card in the deck. This is Magical Alms. It's a continuous spell. When it's activated, you gain 1,000 life points. During each player's main phase, the turn player must guess how many spell cards, except this card, they're going to activate that turn. Now already, that's weird. Each time a player makes a guess with this card's effect, both players gain 500 life points times the number of spells guessed. So, yeah. That's really weird, again. Then during each player's end phase, the turn player uses less or more spell cards than guessed. That player takes 1,000 damage times the number of spell cards they activated that turn. So you could potentially just never... This card is so abusable in, like, real gameplay, because you could just guess, like, oh, I'm going to activate 30 spells. Then only activate 1 spell, you take 1,000 damage. It's crazy. You're like, what the heck were they even thinking with this thing? Unless it's take 1,000 for the number of spell cards guessed, then or the spell cards they activate, because it actually doesn't specify. I'll have to look that up, what the wording of like this card is on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia. Anyway, now we got Pegasus Wing. You can only activate it when there's a Fortune Chariot in the graveyard. It lets a Valkyrie monster cut its attack in half to attack directly this turn. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we have Rainbow Bridge Bifrost. I love the art on this card. It's so nice. You select a face-up Valkyrie monster, and it gains 500 attack for each banished monster until the end of the turn. So it just makes it a bigger beater. All right, now for the big swarm, as I say, Ride of the Valkyries. Special summon as many Valkyrie monsters from your hand as possible. Then during the end of the turn, they all go back to the deck. It doesn't have the effect where you search the Time Goddess card. That was only on the real version that we got. Still pretty nice when you're able to. But also, we don't have Nibelung's Treasure in the real game, so we kind of have to give and take there. And then we have Swan Maiden, which is a mini Ride of the Valkyries. You special summon one Valkyrie from your hand, but it does not go back to the deck. This one actually stays on the field. Then we have Valkyrie Embrace. You get to target a Valkyrie monster on your side of the field and change its battle position, and then banish one monster your opponent controls. That's pretty nice. And that is all of the spell cards. Now we have our traps. We have the Apple of Enlightenment. When this card leaves the field, draw a card. You can't activate this manually. It has to be removed from the field by another effect. So, Apple of Enlightenment, they MST it. You get a free draw, which is pretty interesting. And we have Loge's Flame. This card is basically a big stall. Your opponent cannot attack with monsters that have 2,000 or less attack. So, if your opponent's deck has a lot of small monsters, they aren't getting near you. It also helps protect your Valkyries, because all your Valkyries are fairly weak in terms of attack points. If this card is removed from the field, you can then special summon a Valkyrie Brunhilde from your hand or deck, which is pretty nice. You've got a counter trap. This is Wotan's Judgment. You can only activate this card when your opponent declares an attack. You draw a card and then return a spell card from your hand to your deck, then end the battle phase. So it helps you cycle through your deck and maybe put back something you don't need at that moment. Again, the cost of getting rid of a spell is not always optimal, but hey, you do what you can with this deck, really. Then our ultra rare is a Frika's Mediation. This card can only be activated during the opponent's battle phase. You get to banish a Wotan's Judgment from your graveyard to end the battle phase again. So, that's pretty interesting. So yeah, Zigfried has some stall card traps in like his deck to help when he can't get his Valkyrie combos off. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this showing of Zigfried's Valkyrie deck, the anime effect version from Pegasus Fantasy Cards. As always, links will be in the description to where you can purchase this deck and all his others for yourself. Obviously, huge shout-outs go to Pegasus Fantasy Cards, and because his Oricas are really great. I really like them a lot. So you can tell why I keep buying from him. So, anyway, this has been Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Back from the grave. Yeah, someone activated Monster Reborn on me, so there's that. I also might be doing a collab with some of my friends. They're going to be making a team channel. They're at the 200th YCS right now, so I wish them luck. And yeah, you might be seeing me on other channels. You might be seeing them on my channel. We don't know really what's going to happen yet until after the 200th. But look forward to that. And Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Is out of here for tonight. See you all the next time.